Extra cheese? Well, John, I'm here to give it to you. Your extra cheese on a Sunday afternoon. What's up, people? Just saying hello on a Sunday afternoon where I figure, I watched Chelsea lose. I watched the internet lose its collective damn mind over Tiger Woods, and now we got a little bit of a break until Game of Thrones tonight, so thought I'd jump on and say hello to you fine folks. I posted this throw from Aaron Rodgers last night. It got me all in my feelings, that insane touchdown throw to Robert Tonyan in Seattle this past season. Man, I love that guy. I know people think I hate Aaron Rodgers, but oh man, I love that guy. What's up, Josh? How are you? Alex, I think the Packers should give Tiger a look if it's a cap-friendly deal. To do what? Orlando Magic. God, people talking NBA. It is the dark part of the NFL offseason. If we're talking NB freaking A. Good Lord. What's up, Ryan? How are you? Never going to forget this Tiger win. Now, can football get here? Seriously. Raji or bust. I hear you, man. Tiger freaking Woods. Hey, man, I can greatly appreciate the significance of his victory, his taking the green jacket. I'm there, man. It's awesome. I could care less, but I recognize how awesome it is. Hey, from Wisconsin, Robert. Yes, and of course the Bucks playing tonight. Good Lord. Sorry, Corey. Don't worry. Corey doesn't pay attention. I mean, I've been doing extra cheese now for like 2 weeks, and Corey had no idea. So he's so far into his work with LiveX and making LiveX a global phenomenon of a company that, when the draft comes, he'll pay attention, and then he'll check out again until preseason, and even then he won't care until it kicks off week 1. It's just how he rolls. Keep hearing Ed Oliver is more suited to a 4-3, too light for a 3-4. You could ignore all that talk. He is a scheme-transcendent player. You heard it from me. Might he end up on a 4-3 team? Absolutely. It's a possibility. But any team passing on him for that reason is the height of silliness. In your opinion, what is Burns' ceiling? Or, I'm sorry, I thought that was going to be about Burks, but I believe you're talking about Brian Burns. I don't know. I mean, I think it's, significant athletically, but I can't shake the Jamal Reynolds thing. And I know there's no logical reason for it. It's just a gut feeling. And that scares the hell out of me. Now, if the Packers select him, I can only assume that people much smarter than myself who get paid to do this for a living have determined that he can be a force of nature in the NFL, and I'll get on board. But yeah, just at first glance, watching his tape, it just kind of scares me. But that's just me. Who's your favorite wide receiver in this draft? Probably A.J. Brown. I love Hollywood, but A.J. is like fierce, man. Do you think McCarthy and LaFleur will ever sit down and talk? I tend to doubt it. Maybe some gathering of former Packers coaches, sometime in the future. Do you think Cole Madison will rethink the future once again if he receives a concussion playing football? I tend to doubt it. I think this was much more about the loss of a friend than it was. Now, obviously, the friend was dealing with complications from football, but I don't think it would be a direct thing. Of course, it's impossible to say without talking to the man. I can't look inside his heart and soul, but that is my question. That is my hunch. Will we see the fullback role come back next year? Good question, Alex. Well, right now they've got a fullback on the roster, so we'll see. Love you guys. Go Pack Go. Thanks, Joshua. Tiger for the slot. Hey, why not? Would you like Keneal Henry at 30? I've gone back and forth. Again, if the Packers select him, I'm on board until he gets on the field and proves he can't do it. But, I mean, you can't deny his explosiveness. And I think finding a way to get him involved early and often would be important. But, yeah, I'm all in. Name the top 3 Packers player bust. You mean like busts like in the draft? I mean, Tony Manders is obviously number 1 forever. Do you think Jair has a year 2 slump? No, I think Jair is going to take a big jump, actually. Here's the thing with Jair Alexander. You got to remember, he took his lumps last year. And let's not all act like he was Revis in his prime, his rookie season. He had some very good stretches of play, but he also got beat on occasion. And that's to be expected. He's a rookie. But I think time and maybe the internet has kind of colored some Packers fans' memories. He wasn't he wasn't a lockdown, shutdown corner. He's got plenty of room for improvement. And I don't see a slump in his second year. If anything, I see continual development and growth into what I think eventually he will become, which is an excellent NFL player. Saw a mock with the Duke QB at 30. Thoughts? Yeah, that's great. That's one of a billion mocks, and anything is possible. I would be shocked if it happened, but it's not to say it's not possible. I'm just here for Star Wars metaphors, Tyler. The Force is with you always. Was J.K. Scott that bad last year? No, absolutely not. He was a rookie. He was inconsistent. He got poor coaching. He still has a whale of a leg. He can still be an excellent NFL punter. He was very inconsistent, and he definitely faded down the stretch. But that doesn't mean much of anything heading into 2019 with a new staff. Was Montravius Adams, or do you see a big jump from Montravius Adams? I got asked this last week. I just, all I want from Montravius Adams is continual growth, because you saw it throughout last year, and that's what you want from your young players. Guy who obviously missed a ton of time early, finally got on the field last year. He had trouble getting on the field early in the season because of Lancaster, but once injuries kind of took hold of that defensive line, they had to play him. I thought he really progressed, especially the last month of the season. And it's really up to him. All these young guys, it's really up to their work ethic and learning how to be a pro, putting in the time in the offseason. If he does that, I think he can be, if not a significant contributor, then definitely a solid role player, which is pretty much, for me, all they need from him. Could the Packers select Polite? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, will it happen at 12? That would be shocking. Athletic testing being as important as it is these days, I would be absolutely shocked if they took him in the first round. But, at some point, he becomes a value pick, right? All players have value. And the age-old adage, personnel people-wise, always got to keep in mind. Tell me what he can do. Don't tell me what he can't do. At some point in the draft, his upside becomes a little too tantalizing to keep continually passing on. Where that is, only NFL teams and or the Packers can tell us. But could they still select him? Absolutely. Could it happen at 12? That would be shocking. A wide receiver at 12 seems like a stretch. Your opinion? In my opinion, if it's GM Nagler, yes, I agree. But again, this is such a subjective thing. And if Brian Gutekunst is sold on whoever that might be at 12, then he feels it's a once-in-a-lifetime prospect or a blue-chip prospect, etc., and he takes him, then that's the determination he's made. Will I be surprised? Yes. But you just can't rule anything out. I mean, outside of a punter at 12. It's just, I've been watching drafts for too long, both, Packers and the NFL, to really get too locked into any ideas as far as you can do this or you can't do this, or there's no way this happens. Every year we talk about there's no way this happens. And then every year something like what you're talking about happens. So a wide receiver at 12, will I be surprised? Yes. But is it an impossibility? No. Can't wait till training camp. I hear you. I'm excited for the joint practices. See the Texans come to town. That'll be J.J. Watt on the field. That'll be fun. Hazard at 12. I'm all for it, man. When will you do your mock draft? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do a mock draft. Maybe. I don't know. I had to do one last year, so I did it. And actually, I kind of enjoyed it. I love the pushback as the people. My favorite part of last year's mock that I was in the Green Bay Press Gazette is that I didn't have Josh Jackson going in the first round, and I received untold amounts of grief from Packers fans, from NFL fans, etc. And then Josh Jackson didn't go in the first round because athletic testing means something to NFL teams. That's all I'm saying. Where is Kevin Green and why did he leave? Andrew, funnily enough, I was just watching the Jets game this morning from last year, and there is a little shot of Kevin Green on the sideline. Kevin Green is a coach for the Jets, or was, and now has been released. So I don't know what he's up to now. I don't know if he got picked up, but he was a coach for the Jets the last couple years. Why did he leave? It's a great mystery. I know the company line is that he wanted to spend more time with his family. I gotta think there was some kind of drama between him and McCarthy, especially given all the ways McCarthy has moved on from guys throughout the years. It was so sudden and so abrupt, and no one really saw it coming. Everyone was kind of caught off guard. I gotta think something happened. I don't know what it is, but to this day. Until Corey Banky comes back, will you wear a mullet hat? I mean, we all miss Banky. He made a cameo appearance during Extra Cheese on Friday. Oh, hi Nags. Should the 12th pick love football like Nick Barnett did when he was drafted? For those of you who don't know what that's a reference to, Barnett and his representatives could not come to an agreement with the Packers by the time training camp started, the year he was drafted. And so he watched training camp practice from across the street in the parking lot of a gas station, which you can still go to this day, and watched from across the street because he didn't want to miss out on anything. An example of how much he loved the game, how much he wanted to be a part of it. I don't care. I don't really care if a guy loves football. Would I prefer it? Yeah, sure. But, if he can play and he gives his all when he's on the field and then goes home and plays video games, I don't care. As long as he knows the playbook and he's accountable, knows his assignments, shows up and balls out, I don't care what he does when he's not on the field and or in the building. I really don't. That's just me. I used to be very different about that, but passage of time, growing old, having different priorities, at this point, if you can ball, I don't care. Who wins one-on-one, Hawkinson or Jackson? Woo, that's a good question. Probably Hawkinson, I would think. I'd put my money there. I enjoyed the contents of the purchase. Thank you for getting the draft guide. Thank you so much. If you guys haven't, there's 11 days until the draft. The Cheesehead TV draft guide. It's a draft guide specifically designed for Packers fans and only Packers fans. Tons of great content, including a Packer transplants, which is included only with the draft guide. I'm telling you, man, pick it up. It's good stuff. All right, I'll take one or two more here. Oh, Peter, message redacted. What did you say, Peter? Could MVS, with his athleticism and speed, become our downfield threat we've missed for so long, Alan? Yes. In fact, of all the players currently on the roster who are not considered quote-unquote stars, I would put MVS as the biggest potential breakout candidate. The more I go back and watch last season, the more I think he has got, the sky's the limit for that kid. And having Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football doesn't hurt, obviously. But yes, MVS could absolutely destroy the league, especially with teams having to roll coverage towards Devontae Adams. Favorite late round prospect? I keep getting asked this, and I'll keep saying the same thing. Max Crosby. He's a defensive end from Western Michigan. I would love the Packers to take a flyer on him late, sometime in day 3. Hawkinson or Oliver at 12? Give me Oliver. Love both of those prospects. Seeing the Dilly receiver core we had back then makes me think we should consider Hawkinson and a wide receiver with our first rounders mentioning 2010 and the killer wide receiver / pass catching combos that they had back then. Look, you don't have to go all in the first round. Remember, James Jones, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, none of them are first round picks. The Packers have done a really good job throughout the years of finding talent on day 2. When it comes to adding pass catchers. So, I know the temptation, but especially in this draft, I think, to me, A.J. Brown at 30 is the one thing where I look at it and I think that makes a ton of sense. But outside of that, I don't think there's any need to force it. What else we got, folks? You guys are the best. All right. Sorry. Can MVS and EQ become as good or better than James Jones was? Whew, Andrew. I mean, I think they're going to be different types of receivers ultimately, but yes is the simple answer to that question. Can they become that good, i.e. that productive? Absolutely. No question. I don't think that's an unfair comparison whatsoever. All right, everybody, I'm going to jump. Thank you so much for all the questions. Thanks for joining me on a Sunday afternoon. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions. They kind of fly by rather quickly, especially on the phone. But I'll be back with the Packers Daily tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you're checking Cheesehead TV. And please, for the love of all that is holy, for me and my children and the souls of all of those who wander this earth, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. I got 11 days to do it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I have faith because there's a lot of ball game left. So let's do it, people. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Subscribe to Cheesehead TV on YouTube.